Hello, you are very welcome. This is the Irish Refugee Council Education Information Session, and today we are going to talk about all the information you need and where to find it on our website. Each month we have a Zoom information session like this, and if you've been to any of the previous ones, you'll know that we have talked about different things in different meetings. So in January, we talked about how to apply to university by the CAO. In February, we talked about state funding. At our March meeting, we talked about university funding, sanctuary scholarships. Then we talked about how to apply to further education. And last week we had, or last month rather, we talked about online education with Sarah Ed. So today we're talking about all the information that you need to find. Now, in the past 5 years, we've created a booklet, but we decided this year to put it online because we can put it into smaller pieces and hopefully you'll find what you're looking for more easily. So that's the Irish Refugee Council homepage, but the easiest way to find the education page is actually just to Google Irish Refugee Council Education. That will probably get you to it, but support will be even quicker. Irish Refugee Council Education Support. And the first thing that appears will be our education page. Looks like that. Now, the first thing to say is that this information is about adult education. If you were interested in children's education, primary school or secondary school for teenagers, there's a couple of links there at the top of the page that you could go to. So that's if you're interested in children or secondary school, teenage education. So I'm just going to talk here about further and higher education for people generally over the age, past secondary school. So before I jump into that, I'll just tell you what we do to support education in Ireland. So there are 4 different things. One is we advocate with government. So yes, we ask government if they can genuinely provide access to education for people seeking asylum in Ireland. The second thing we do is work with universities. We support and encourage them to provide more and better sanctuary scholarships at undergraduate level and postgraduate level. The third thing we do is we provide information, both directly to you if you email us, also via these type of webinars. And we also provide information for other people that support you, like people who work in colleges of further education and universities, guidance counsellors, that sort of thing. So we provide information to them to help you as well. And the last thing is we have an education fund. We don't get anything from the government for this fund, but it's basically donations from private individuals and some corporates, some companies. The fund will open on the 20th of June this year. When it's open, this little click here will be a live link that will take you to the application form. And basically we try to help people who are not eligible for state or university funding. So when you land on this page, if you just scroll down to these little pictures, and there's quite a few of them, but actually the ones at the bottom are not relevant for us today. I'm just going to look at maybe the first 7 or 8. So the first one I'm going to look at is called How to Get Started, Education in Ireland, How to Get Started. So the first thing I would say to you is to get good advice. And how do you get good advice? Well, you go and meet an adult education guidance counsellor and you chat about what it is you want to do before you start a course. Because so often I come across people, I meet people who have started on the wrong course. That's not really what they wanted to do. So be sure you start in the right place. So you can find an education guidance counsellor by clicking on this map. On the map is also colleges and universities, so I'm just going to remove them for a minute to make it clearer for you. So there's a map of Ireland. You can zoom in to find where you are. And let's say you live over here. You can click on this and it will tell you that this is the Adult Education Guidance Service for Mayo, South and East Mayo. It'll give you the website, the address, the postcode, a phone number, and an email address. So I would recommend that you email the person and explain that you would like to set up a meeting to discuss education, your education path, what it is you want to do. So that's the first thing. All right, let me go back. The second thing that you need to do then is to understand the education structure in Ireland. All education is divided into 10 different levels. You've probably heard of QQI level 5. But just to give you a little more of an understanding, the leaving certificate exam that teenagers do when they leave school it's called the leaving certificate. That's a level 5 as well. Level 5 and level 6 are PLC, or post-leaving certificate exams. Level 7 or 8 is an undergraduate, and level 9 is postgraduate, and so on. So again, most images are clickable. So if you click on that, it will take you to that website, and it will explain a little more about the education framework in Ireland. So that's the second thing you need to know. The third thing here is how to have your previous degree recognised in Ireland. So if you have come to Ireland with a degree from your own country, you can click, there are various live links, or if you click on this image, it will take you to NARIC. And there's a search function here where you can look for your own country. I'm just going to pick, for example, what will I pick? I'm looking for Swaziland, can't find it. Okay, I'm looking for South Africa, and search. And so you see there, it immediately gives 34 different qualifications for South Africa. So you can find your own country. And when you click into any one of those, it will give you more details about that qualification. And it will also give you a statement. It's called a comparability statement. So that basically allows you to show that to a university in Ireland to say, look, I've done this degree in my own country, and this is how it compares to education in Ireland. Or you could use that if you were looking for a job as well. So that's how to have your previous degree recognised. And then the last thing on this page is just a little summary of what you're eligible for. So if you are less than 6 months in Ireland, generally speaking, you are eligible for English language tuition. Once you are 6 months here, you can apply for a work permit, and that means that you are eligible for the level 5 and 6 PLC courses that I mentioned. I will come back to this. It also means that you're eligible for various funding called VTOS and Sanctuary Scholarships. I'll show you more information about that when we get to that page. And then when you're here more than 3 years, you can get state funding for undergraduate and postgraduate degrees as well. As you see, you can click there for all of those, but that's just a summary. I'm going to show you more information about that in a few minutes. So that's the first page, which is how to get started. So I'm going back here to my home page, and the second page I'm going to show you is that map that we looked at, but in a little more detail. So here's the map. I'm going to click over here to expand it as large as I can. Hopefully you'll see it better. So on this map, you'll see all the little red tabs are adult education guidance. The little purple ones are the colleges of further education. For example, the blue ones are universities. And I've put here the private ones, private colleges in green. I've put them there, but mostly to tell you to avoid them. Don't go to a private college because you cannot get state funding for private colleges. So I really put them there mostly to tell you to avoid them. So let's say, for example, you're living, I'm going to avoid Dublin because it's very crowded. Let's say you live down here in Limerick, for example. Well, here you can find, that's a further education and training college, for example. Here you have TUS, the Technological University of Shannon. In there you have Limerick College of Further Education, and so on. So you get the idea. Zoom into where you live and you'll be able to find guidance and colleges and universities. So that is the second page. Each time I'm going back to the education main page, because this is where it all begins. So we've done how you get started in Ireland, the map so you can find a college or you can find a guidance counsellor near you. So the third page I want to talk about is further education and training. So I briefly mentioned it earlier, but it's very important once you're 6 months in Ireland to get a work permit. Obviously it means you can work, but it is very important for access to education. And the reason for this is prior to 2021, people in the protection system generally had to pay non-EU fees to do a level 5 or 6 PLC course, and that cost about 3,600. And then in 2021, the Minister for Further and Higher Education announced that if you had a work permit, you could then access those same courses at a subsidised fee, generally about 200 or 300 euros. And I believe from this coming September 2023, a lot of those fees are being removed, and for a smaller fee, which is like an acceptance fee. If you apply for a course, they offer you a place and you accept it, you might have to pay an acceptance fee or a registration fee for 30, 40, 50 euros, something like that. And in many colleges, they're telling me that there are no more fees than that, but you do need a work permit. So once you were in Ireland for 5 months, 5 months from the date that you've applied for protection, you can apply for a work permit. And you can click there, or you can click this picture, and that will take you to the website. And you can apply for your work permit online. It tells you all the details there, how to apply. You apply online. So that's where you get your work permit. It will take, I think it's taking about 4 to 6 weeks for the work permit to arrive. So apply as soon as you possibly can if you don't have it. So that's the work permit. So what is further education and training? Well, further education and training it's a huge variety of, lifelong education, and generally for people over the age of 16. So on one side of the education journey, if you like, you've got primary education for children generally up to the age of 12. You've got secondary education for people normally up to around the age of 18. At the far end, then you've got undergraduate or bachelor degrees, postgraduate or master's degrees, PhDs, all of that. And all the bit in the middle of those two things is called further education and training. And in March, we did one of these evening sessions on that, and it's here. So this, if you click here, that's a 20-minute video that tells you all about further education and training. So please do take a look at that if you're interested. And how do you find a course where you live? Well, you might have gone into the map and you might have found a college already that you like, and you could have gone into that college website and maybe you found a course there. If not, you can click on any of these logos here, further education and training. For example, you could put, let me see, let's say I was interested in doing business. You would put that in there. Location, maybe put the county that you are living in there. I'm going to click on Meath for the moment. And it will give you a list of related courses. So the first one there you see pre-university business law. That's in Dunboyne because I chose County Meath. So you can search for a course there, and then you can click into that and you can apply for those courses online. We can come back to that in a little more detail in the Q&A. So that's all the information that you find on the further education and training page. So let me go back to the education homepage. So that's the first three we've looked at. The next one we're looking at is higher education. So this is university generally. So how do you apply to do an undergraduate degree or a bachelor's degree in Ireland? Well, you apply through the Central Applications Office. And we did a session on this in January. There's a link there to the YouTube video. Again, about all these videos, we try to keep to 20 minutes, so it's not too long. So if you look at that video, it will tell you how to apply. It's too late now. If you haven't applied for September 2023, it is actually too late to apply now. But if you're interested, that will tell you all the information for next year. You could get ready. Importantly, what you could be doing this year is one of these four things, because to apply to university, you need to apply on the basis of something. So either having done a leaving certificate, which is what, as I said, teenagers generally do when they're leaving school here, or you could do the 1 year post-leaving certificate course that I was just talking about there a minute ago, the further education, level 5. You can apply for them now right up until September. You know, they're open April, May, June, July, September. You can apply right now. You can also apply to do an Access Foundation course in one of these universities, and all of those, these are all live links to those universities. That's a 1 year course to prepare you to go into university. So if you're thinking about going to university next year, that would also be a good one to do. And you can also apply as a mature student. That can be a little trickier because you will have to do an English test, and there's a little more to it. Anyway, the links are in there. That's where you need to go if you want to do that. The most common way for people in the asylum process to get into university would be to do number 2 or 3 here. It would be to do a post-leaving certificate course, which is 1 year, or an Access Foundation course, which is 1 year. So you could do that for the next year and then apply to go to university next year. Importantly, I'll just say here, you might find some international foundation programs, and they're on offer for about 15,000 a year. It's absolutely not recommended and not necessary to do one of those. I had a situation a few years ago where somebody did one of those. They got into university, and then forevermore they were treated as an international student, which is just too expensive. So that is how you apply to go to university. So back to our homepage. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 we've done. So the next one here I'm going to look at is understanding the fees. So if you want to understand the fees at university level, this is where you would come to have a look, have a read. So ideally, you want to be designated as an EU student, obviously, not an EU student, not a non-EU or an international student, because that's very expensive. And this page, if you read through that page, it will give you a good understanding of the fees at university level for undergraduate degree. So let's go back to the home page. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me go into the 6th one here, which is all about state funding or government funding. Yeah. So what we're talking about here these are 4 different government fundings that you are eligible for education in Ireland. The Voluntary Training Opportunity Scheme, or VTOS, that is, you'll see down here, there's more information about that, okay? So that gives you more information about that. It's for further education, basically. Then the International Protection Student Scheme, again, if you scroll down, see there, you get more information about that. For that, you have to be in Ireland for 3 years and to be a protection applicant. The third one then is SUSI. For that, you also need to be in Ireland 3 years, but you need to have your stamp 4, your refugee status. So this is for people with status. This is for people without status. So whether you have status or not, once you're here 3 years, you can apply for funding for an undergraduate degree. And then the last one we talk about here is called Back to Education Allowance. Again, you need to have a stamp 4 for this one. And this does not pay fees. This is a maintenance grant, basically, which is generally worth more money than the maintenance grant and the SUSI. So that's state funding. The 7th one we want to look at here is university funding or sanctuary scholarships. So this is for people who are not eligible for state funding. So if you're eligible for state funding, go and apply and get it. That's great. That's great. If you're not eligible, well, then you can apply to university funding. It's called Sanctuary Scholarships. This is a list of all the universities that offer scholarships. Then below that is a list of scholarships, particularly for the access course I mentioned, the level 6, the 1 year. So you can see it's offered in Trinity, TU Dublin, TUS, that's Lone and Limerick, UCD in Dublin, and UM in Limerick. And over here, it says click here for more information. And if we have a closing date, we put it in. That's the access. Then undergraduate scholarships, level 7 and 8, they're all listed here. It's in county order. So Carlow, Cork, Donegal, Dublin, and so on. And again, same thing, it tells you how many scholarships are offered by each university, the number of scholarships that are offered, if they include a maintenance element as well as the free fees. So they all include free fees. So if you get one, you don't have to pay any fees. And in addition, they will give you a maintenance grant to help with transport and food and things like that. Never accommodation, never bills. It's just really for, bus transfer and lunch kind of thing. So again, if they have their website open, we've put a live link to how you apply there. And if there's a closing date, we've put that in as well. So that's undergraduate scholarships. A smaller number of universities have postgraduate scholarships, and you'll find all that information there. And then we have a few other scholarships that don't fit into the categories above. So they're all the university scholarships. So let me go back now to the homepage. We're nearly there. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the other one I'm just going to show you. This one here, Please Support Our Education Programme, is where we are asking companies and people to give us money to help you. So you don't need to look at that. I'll just show you this last one here, which is staying updated about education. We have a Facebook page. It's a closed Facebook page, so only protection applicant, refugee people can be a member of this Facebook page. To join it, you click on the image here. It will ask you a couple of questions, and then we can let you in. So it looks like this. So for example, yesterday we posted about further education colleges. We also advertised the fact that we're having this meeting here tonight. That sort of thing is all there. Okay, so let me go back. So they are really the first 8 of those pages are the ones that are most relevant to you. And just to remind you again that the way to find it is just go to Google and type in Irish Refugee Council Education Support, and it will take you directly there. Okay. So thanks for listening. For those of you who are here live now, I'm going to switch off the recording and we will take your questions. Thanks very much. Bye now.